You give me a thumbs up when you're ready.
I'm already recording.
Oh, for God's sakes. Anyway, here we go. What I'm going to do is I am going to do this investigation. We're going to videotape it. What we have set up here, just so you know, you'll see the question in a minute, but the overall question is, which of the following factors will have the biggest impact on the rate of weathering? So we have a combination of factors. We have 2 beakers here, 300 milliliters. They're sitting on hot plates. Okay, we're getting those warmed up. And we have 2 beakers of 300 milliliters of water. These are going to be room temperature or colder. We'll get the temperature of those in a minute. What we're going to do is we're going to test 2 full tablet antacid tablets and 2 broken antacid tablets. So I took the same type of tablet, same size, and broke them into 4 pieces. So you've got quarters here and full ones here. So when you see tomorrow morning your question that you have to make a hypothesis about, it is which one of those combinations will weather the fastest, right? So the question is it going to be warm water full tablet, warm water broken tablet, cold water full, or cold water broken? So those are our choices, okay? And we're going to go through this and I'm going to time it. I'll use my phone as the stopwatch for this and we'll time what the rate really is. I have 2 boards set up. You can follow me, right? We have a couple of boards set up and you'll get pictures of these. This will be where we keep our information. This will be a table that I record the information and you'll have access to this. You'll have a picture of this and you'll be able to use this for your official table and your official graph and then to form a conclusion. Over here is the question that you'll have to come up with a hypothesis for. This will be the discussion reply in the beginning that will actually count for attendance for tomorrow. You have to come up with a hypothesis to be marked present for tomorrow's class. If that's not done, then I can't mark you present. So that definitely has to be done. Okay, so you'll see this question. It's a little bit deceiving because you're going to see the results before you actually end up making your hypothesis. I would hope that you do this first, but is what it is. So here we go. What we're going to do is we're going to start with the cold water as the warm. We're going to start with the cold water as the warm water really gets going here, and not to a boil, but warm enough that we can use. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to test the cold water with a full tablet. And what I'll do is I'm going to drop this in. I'm going to start the stopwatch, and when the tablet is completely dissolved, which means there's no pieces left that are visible, it's completely dissolved, I'm going to stop it and we're going to record how long that took. So here we go. This is going to be our first thing. You'll see after a time, it'll rise to the top as it loses some of that density. Right? As it dissolves, it's going to lose that density. Water is going to enter those pores. Right? You just did a gizmo on porosity and permeability, and you're going to see that happen right here. Again, still at the bottom. Eventually it'll get up to the top. And there are little pieces there. There's very little pieces at the top. You can see a little bit over here. And when it fully dissolves, right, very close, done. I got 57.5 seconds, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to fill out the cold water full tablet. 57.5. Okay, so we got our first piece of data that we need. Move that aside. And the next one we're going to do is the cold water broken tablet. So same size tablet, which means the mass is the same. All I did was break it in half. It's like the time when I ripped the paper in half. It's still the same volume. It's still the same mass. Nothing has changed. We're going to end up putting that in, and we're going to time it the same way. And I'll drop it in, and we'll hit start. And again, it's going to be when every single piece is completely dissolved, we'll get our results. It's dissolving. You can see pieces of it rise to the top. Right? One of the most important pieces of both weathering and erosion and deposition is of course water. Those pieces are popping to the top now. Dissolving. Dissolving. Now the last one finally popped to the top. It was the largest of those pieces. It only makes sense. And this one took a little bit longer, which is actually a surprise. What happened was, you know, that larger piece kind of got stuck at the bottom, got caught up in things, but it actually took, it was 61 seconds. Now we're going to move on to the warmer water, right? So just to give you a clue, I'm not worried about right now is the temperature of the water. We're just going cold versus warm. But just to give you an idea, if I put the thermometer into the cold water, we're getting a reading of about 14 degrees Celsius. So now we can compare it to our warm water. Ooh, definitely warmer because we got the hot plates going. They're firing on high here, and we're going to do the same exact thing. Let's get a temperature of that just as a comparison. That's shooting up pretty quick. Let me get that off of the actual hot plate itself so we get a more accurate reading. And we've got about 53 degrees Celsius for that. All right, so we got a higher temperature here for the hot, and we're going to see what it looks like. We're going to go whole tablet first. And as you can see, the reaction is much, much quicker. It popped to the top almost immediately. This is the whole tablet now. We're getting a very quick reaction with the antacid tablets. And it's pretty much gone. 17.6 seconds. So warm water with a full tablet. Now we'll do the same thing here. Let's shut this off before I burn my house down, because I got no place to go because they don't allow you to leave the house. So let's reset. This is usually done with multiple people, so I'm kind of doing it myself with less hands than usual. All right, so let's start this one. As you can see, that one's moving quick. They didn't even go to the bottom. Okay, we'll talk about convection currents in future lessons. And that's done. 13.6. So with everything that we've recorded, we have some data that we're going to use to be able to graph and make a conclusion. We'll get a picture of this. We'll get it to you so you can see it, okay? So you can always go back to it. But this is going to be the data that's collected, and your job is going to be organize this, make your own table, make your own graph, okay? Again, this is going to be a bar graph. We're only comparing these four, okay? Make sure your labels and titles are correct. And then from this point, you're going to be able to make a conclusion. You'll analyze this and make a conclusion based on this. Don't forget your scientific data. Don't forget the scientific proof, the background, talking about things like porosity and permeability. Don't forget that the two biggest factors in weathering, we said, were the type of rock, right, if it was permeable or not, okay, and the climate. We have what we're using for this, just so you know, okay, are just simple antacid tablets. They're naturally permeable by nature. And then we have, you know, two different types of what we call climate. It just happens to be they're both wet. So both climates are wet. Just one is going to be cold, one is hot, and you can see differences with those. The only thing with that is, like, I'm very surprised with this one, with the cold water. That could have been just I always say there's possibilities of changes and mistakes. That could happen because I hit the stopwatch different. There's a number of different reasons, but you should see obvious difference between these temperatures, right? So you should be able to analyze this quickly and come up with a logical, explanation and a conclusion based on this. I will be posting this. I'm going to still have my morning video that I release, which is the instructions for the day. All right, this is going to be posted in that particular section. So not only will I give the instructions, I will also post this, so you'll see it right away. And the regular lab itself, the instructions for the lab written out, will be located in the modules. Okay, it'll be called Comparing Factors on Weathering. lab. I'll open that up in the morning as well, and you'll be ready to go. And from 8 to 11, I hope I'll be available on Zoom for conferencing. We do have an electrician coming to the house that has to do some work, which may mean my electricity has to be shut down for a little while. If I can't hotspot correctly, I might have to extend those Zoom hours for you, but I don't see it to be that much of a problem. If not, you always have email. You can always email me and we can talk back and forth that way. Anyway, we're going to sign off now, and we'll get this together for you and post it.